Richard Chacon. I am a meta marketing pro. All right. So what we're going to learn today is going to be really how to put an ad together. The easiest thing that you need to do is just type in facebook.com/ads manager. If you type it in, you're going to get an overview. On the far left-hand side, you're going to see something that says campaigns. Click that button. That button's going to have you a layout like this. Now, here's how I want you to think of Ads Manager. Okay, Ads Manager. Hopefully everyone likes peanut M&Ms, but it works like this. The campaign section is a very thin candy shell. It's going to have your name. It's going to have your campaign name, which no one's ever going to see, and it's going to have some other little rules. If you're real estate, or if you're in finance, or if you're in any sort of political thing, you got to select special ads, but it's going to be in that first campaign. So that ultimately is the thin candy shell. The next part is going to be the ad set. Now, the ad set is the chocolate part. Like, that is the good stuff. That's where we're going to find the audience. We're going to be able to work with budgets, and we're going to be able to put placements where we want our ads to go. Now, the last thing is going to be the actual nut, which is going to be the image, the video, whatever you guys are boosting. Okay. Now, I am currently running a couple of ads just to mess around with Instagram, because there's some stuff that you need to know about Instagram. So Instagram is made for the phone. So when it comes to advertising, it's my understanding, again, Ads Manager works great for running ads on both Instagram and Facebook. But if you want to run really effective ads and really good, good traffic ads, you want to be on Instagram. You want to be on the actual app. The phone app makes it easy, simple. There's 3 objectives. I prefer that my advertisers run their ads off of the app, just because there's some more powerful things that you can work off the app on Instagram, because Instagram's really made for the phone. Facebook's really made for a desktop, or, that's kind of what it's for. So anyways, so what I want you to do is, if you're following along, click this green button that says create. All right. Now, this is very important. Like I said, this is why we got to think about what we want them to do. So this is the objective. Basically, it's your sales funnel made simple, really easy. Top of the funnel, the cheapest. You're going to get a ton of reach for none of the cost. Okay. As you get down to sales, it gets very much more complicated. As you get further down, you're going to have pixel set up. You're going to have conversions API. That's really built for more of a long e-commerce, and people really just looking to that have traffic already generated. A lot of things that I've noticed is that people don't tell you on YouTube. This is one of the craziest things that I always hear is, I want to create a conversions campaign. And I'm like, you have 0 followers on your Facebook page, or you have 100 people on your Instagram page. Running conversion campaigns are not effective. They're actually very costly. So you're going to hear people go, oh, well, I'm going to get a return on ad spend. I want to get at least a 4. And if you don't know what return on ad spend is, that is fancy jargon for how much money we get back from how much money we put in. That's kind of the easiest way to do it. So when I talk to people about that, they're like, well, I want to make a lot of money. I go, okay, great. How much do you want to spend? And that always ends up being they want to win the lottery. So I want to spend $1 to win $1 million. And I'm like, that doesn't exist. Or maybe it did 3 years ago, but it just doesn't exist anymore. So what I'm going to tell you is, as you go down, the really ones that you only need to really think about is, how do you get, in the beginning, at least the very beginning, how do I get people to my website? How do I get my people to my page? This is why, when you work with Kat, she's going to help you understand, advertising is only half the game. Your content is the other half. Okay. So yes, we want to get traffic. Yes, we want to get to the further down of this pipeline. But to be honest, we're probably going to be at the beginning of it, depending on what our budget is, of course. Now, the most effective ads I've ever seen for an e-commerce page that just started with 0 followers, zero Instagram people that I've seen run ads. And again, I've seen it happen. They have to spend between $3,000 to $5,000 a month. And if you're not spending that much money on advertising, then you got to start at the beginning, which is going to be awareness, traffic, and leads. Okay, so for this particular thing, we're going to just start with traffic. Okay, just to get, everyone wants website traffic. So how do you get to this bottom one? You got to get traffic first. Okay, I personally like to create 2 separate ads. One's for reach, one's for traffic. But for this one, for this exercise, we're going to start with traffic. Okay, so, and again, I can go into a whole nother story about how I don't believe in emails and how all you really need is a really good social media presence to really sell anything anymore, and a good landing page, but neither here nor there. That's a whole nother conversation that we can get into. So this right here is the campaign. This is the thin candy show I told you about. So we want to call this whatever we want to call this. Okay. Now we can call it traffic. We can call it, St. Patty's Day campaign. You can call it whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. No one's ever going to see it. Okay, so special ads categories. If you're in real estate, if you're in employment, if you are in housing, if you are in social issues, please select this. Here's the thing I need to let you know that a lot of people do not understand. Your account will get disabled if you get like 5 rejected ads. Like if you go, hey, once I hit that and it rejects once and I put a review in, and they rejected again, and then I did the same thing. I didn't select this, even though they kept telling me select special ads. I know that once you click that, it's going to make it very rigid, and that's okay. Just because it's rigid doesn't mean it's not workable. You got to have good creative if you're going to get past that rigidness of the audience. Okay. Now, campaign details right here. This right here is going to tell you what it is. Auction is where you're always going to go. Do not try, unless you are Coca-Cola, unless you are spending $1 million a month, or at the minimum $80,000 a month, should you ever try to go to reach and frequency. Reach and frequency, and it won't even let you do that anymore now. I just remembered that. It won't even let you do that. So until you get to that level, there's a reach and frequency. Some of you guys still have it, but until you get to that level, then you don't really need to worry about, just stay in auction. Since this is a traffic campaign, we're going to stay with traffic. A/B test. Do not use this. This is not for you. You are small. Do not try to do what the big guys do. The thing that makes you better than the big guys is you can move quickly. You don't need to adjust very slowly. A/B testing is when you're going to test one thing, one little thing. I like this purple versus this red, and I'm going to put this red background. So there are a ton of different things that are going to help you kind of work that magic to find the right message, the right creative, and the right offer. Okay. Advantage campaign budgets. I personally love this. It's simple, but not everyone loves this and not everyone believes it's effective. I personally like it. There's a reason why. Okay. Let's say I am a plumber or a lawn guy, and my company closes right at 7. If I turn this on, I can select when my ads run, from what time to what time someone's going to be answering the phone. If I'm running traffic for phone calls, then I want to keep that on to limit, like, when am I going to get phone calls? Because I'm not answering the phone after 7, or I'm not answering the phone after 6, or I'm not taking phone calls before 5 o'clock in the morning. So that is kind of, that's the extra thing. Now, here's the best part. If you do turn it on, it's going to always start off in daily budget, and it'll always give you an estimated daily for what your market is. Do you have to stick with it? No, you can adjust it. Again, if you select lifetime budget, that means that's all it's going to use. It is not going to use any more or any less. It's going to use what that says. So what I always tell people is budget does not guarantee results. it only guarantees you an audience. So you got to figure out, how do you create a really healthy budget that fits you? And here's the way I tell most people, when it comes to budget, what you need to know is this: how much does it cost you to get a client? If you know that advanced question, then start there. So, or if you don't know, then figure out what is your profit margin, and then divide that number by 4. So if you're making $1,000 per every sale you get, take that number, and like you're making $1,000 in profit, you divide that number by 4, you have $250 left. That's what you should be spending on the allocation for that sale. Like that's kind of where you want to start off at.
Is that like, that's a lifetime budget, 250?
250 on, and again, that is, we're trying to get sales. Now, again, I'm not going to tell you to run a lifetime budget of 1. Okay, here's another thing too. Here's another caveat I forgot to tell you. You didn't get in business to try it out for 3 months. You got in business to try it out for years. So you need to have a yearly budget. This is my yearly advertising budget. Divide that into 4 and go, okay, I have 4 quarters. I want, if you're going to make a lot of money for each sale, don't go cheap. Like, do not go, hey, I only want to spend $1, but I'm going to make $100,000 for a sale. It just, that math doesn't add up. You're just hoping for and again, can it happen? Yes, it can. Does it happen every now and then? Absolutely. But it's just not common. It's an exception, and it's not really the rule. So what I always tell people is take your profit margin, divide that by 4, and then that's what you should be running. If you're just trying to get 1 sale a month, depending on how many sales you're trying to get on a monthly basis, then you take that, and that's what you should be advertising for to get that return. Okay. But if you're small and you're like, Rich, I really only have like $200 a month, $300 a month to spend, that's fine. One thing you need to realize, it doesn't matter what your budget is. Duration counts more than budget does. The longer you run an ad for, the better. So, but you don't want to run an ad too long, because creative also plays a part in that as well. So 7 days, never run your ad for more than 7 days. And the reason why is because the algorithm's trying to learn who to send your information to, and who is the person that's more than likely going to click on it to get what you're trying to get accomplished. So it's still learning in that phase, and it's collecting data. Again, there are no bad ads. There's only bad data readers. So if you can look at the data is going to tell you exactly what the next thing to fix and optimize for to help you run the next week. Now, again, that is advertising. For this particular thing, I always tell people, just start with $5 a day. That's $35 a week. That's basically a cup of coffee for your brand, especially if you're just going to get traffic. Like, and again, we're not trying to focus on sales. We're trying to get people aware of where we want them to, like, we want them to know that we exist. If they do not know we exist, we can't help them. Okay, so I always tell people, start small, $35. You ain't got to go crazy, $35. All right. Now, you click the little next button here, and now we got ad set. This is the easiest thing. This is how I'm going to know who taught you if you type this in. Because this is what I tell everyone to type in: audience settings. Just type it in, audience settings. That way, you know exactly what's in this particular thing. And you're not going, hey, what is that? What's an ad set? It's just basically audience settings. Simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right. So conversions, we're going to try for website traffic. You can shoot for calls. That is good too. You can get phone calls from here. You can run traffic for phone calls. You can run traffic for messages as well. And they're both very effective if you put the right budget in, you're monitoring it effectively. Dynamic creative, if you turn this on, you need to really have like a lot of creative. And that will help you go, hey, I'm going to choose multiple headlines. I'm actually going to include a video and some other things. Dynamic creative is very complicated, and it makes it very difficult to understand what worked and what didn't work. But you can do it, and it's very unique, creative, and you can try it. But okay, so automation and delivery, this is how we figure out where we're going to send that traffic. Now, let me see where we're at in time. Okay, so landing page views, if you have pixel set up. Now, link clicks and landing page views, what's the difference? I get asked that question all the time. Link clicks just means they click the link to go to the website. They may have stayed on there for 3 seconds, they bounce back. Landing page views means that the pixel caught it and it sat there for at least 10 seconds. And then either they left or they did some procedure going forward. Okay, daily unique reach. Now, I am very old school when it comes to advertising. I have done everything from television. I have done billboards. To me, reach and frequency matter the most. Reach, frequency, and consistency, because I want to get that equity for my clients, which is when somebody thinks of this, they're going to think of me. So if someone's going to think of real estate, they're going to think of me. If someone's going to think of personal injury attorneys, they're going to think of me. Okay. And that is daily unique reach. That means that individuals, every individual is going to see that. So again, I want as many people to know about me as possible. Impressions, that's the frequency side of it. I like a certain level of frequency. If you go past a certain number, it just becomes a blur. Like people already know it's an ad and they'll just scroll right past it. So as far as impressions go, I tell people this: if you're going to run with impressions, you want to get as much frequency as possible, nothing higher than a 2. 3, if you want to be, if you've got a small area, 3, no more than 3. Okay. The reach frequency, I would say somewhere between 2 and 3. That's the best part. Okay. If you're less than that, if you're, let's say you're like at a 1 or a 1.25, then I want to tell you that your budget needs to be increased. Again, that's a whole nother thing for data when we go to that particular part. For now, we're just going to stick with link clicks. All right. Budget and schedule. Again, I told you, there's a lot of information. So that'll be, hopefully you're catching along. So here's what we want to do. We never want to run it for less than 7. We never want to run more than 7 days. Now, the only time you want to run it longer than 7 days is if you're spending $1 a day. Okay. And if you're going to spend $1 a day, it's going to be a trickle. So you're going to go slow. And if you're only in it for get fast, then that's what's going to happen. Again, you got to spend money to make, to make money. So here is what if you click this button here, reset your start date, it's going to reset your time effectively. There's always going to be errors here. Again, we made it more complicated than we had to, but here's the best part, the goodie parts. The best thing that you can figure out is if you know your audience, the better you know your audience, the more effective your advertising can be. If you do not know your audience, if I had to talk to you and I said, hey, tell me who's your ideal client, and you go, men and women, 18 to 30, and that's kind of all I got. Well, then I'm going to have a difficult time trying to figure out who that audience is. But if I tell you, hey, I'm a moving company, the best people for me are 30 to 55-year-olds married. And the reason why is once they get divorced, they try to stay into that marriage thing. So they're looking for that particular market. Again, I talked to a very unique client once, and they were in a market of, can't give you the name of the company, but it was divorce accounting. I didn't know that existed. Like, I've been in advertising for so long, I didn't even know divorce accounting existed. But she knew her audience so well that I was like, wow, that's insane. She wanted 25 to 44 married women, and her ad started off with something like, are you happily married? And again, we targeted certain parts of the United States, because she said that's where majority of her clients came from. And that was a whole nother the whole nother level of knowing your audience exactly. Now, okay, so here is the United States. Always edit this. Okay, so there's 1,001 strategies when it comes to audience. The first thing I'm going to tell you is dominate your market first. Like if you're in Austin, dominate Austin. If you're in like Los Angeles, try to dominate Los Angeles. If you're in a little small like part of North Carolina, target that area and try to dominate it first, and then work your way out. Don't try to, just because that will help you get your audience more narrow and more targeted. And the more that we can target, the better. So, especially if your services can't go nationwide. If you're a nationwide company, by all means, don't even target all the nation. There's only really 4 states. Here's the secret. You only need 4 states to really come along with you. It's really simple. If you're going to target nationwide, target these 4 states first and see how your audience adjusts to make your adjustments when it comes to looking at your data. Texas, California, Florida, New York. Those 4 states. That's it. Target those 4 states. That's where majority of all traffic from all Facebook and Instagram ads come from anyway. You target those 4 states, you're going to see movement along your along the reach meter. Okay. So you always want to put, if you just want to make sure that they're living in the area that you service. We're going to target, let's say, Austin. All right. So click here, and I'm going to say browse. Now, Austin, Texas. Okay, so you're going to see these random things like DMA. DMA is their direct marketing area, which basically is just a term for, that's where they can watch TV at. So it's not going to select all of Austin. It's going to select all of Austin plus some other places outside that normally the Nielsen rate. It's based off of Nielsen ratings. Okay. So what I'll just tell you is select Austin, Texas. You're going to get a map, and you can easily scroll out, scroll in. I always tell people, you don't want to go too far out. Again, adjust this to where you want it at. There's another thing you can do. One of my favorite secrets, I'll give you a little insider tip. If you don't like your competition and you want to target them, put their address in the location, change this for people living in this location to people recently in this location, and target that audience, especially if you're in the med spa business. This is going to help you because, if you got 4 different med spas in your town or in your city, if you have 10 of them, you should be targeting all the people that have recently visited there. And then you make just a killer offer that can hopefully turn their audience into your audience. Okay. Little techniques like that will help you again, but you want to change this to recently located. That is my tactic. That's what I like to do when it comes to med spas, because again, I want to get the audience right every time we select. Now, okay, how do I put this right? If you don't know the age of the people that buy from you, if you don't know that number, then just keep it like this. And normally I will tell you, look at the data to narrow it down to go, hey, this is how we're going to adjust our audience. If you're like, well, I'm really targeting 18 to 24-year-olds, and you keep it on 18 to 65, but you notice that 35 to 65-year-olds buy, then stick there. They're either buying it for themselves or they're buying it for their daughters or their whoever. But you want to target the people that are going to be buying. And again, go with what's working. Do not try to go, hey, that's not my audience. Obviously, your ads are resonating with that audience, and we got to work on creative to make it better. All right. Detail targeting. This is where everyone gets lost. This is where everyone ends up going, ruining their audiences here. I always like starting broad because I want to know, I don't really care what they're interested in. I just want to get in front of as many of them as possible, especially if I'm targeting a smaller area. If I'm going to target a bigger area, then I kind of want to really know what they're interested in. And if you do not know that, then don't waste your time. You're just going to be here forever going, I want someone that's into equestrian and into luxury goods and into vegan, and then you start just like completely narrowing your audience, and then you're getting no reach. Like you're getting nothing in reach. You might be, you hopefully have the right audience, but you're not getting any traction. So what I also tell people is, if you know their relationship status, that'll help you save a ton of time. Like if they're married and you know that's who usually targets you, I've worked with lawn care professionals that will go, I go, hey, who works the best for you? And this is what I've seen return really well on them. It's going to be women are going to call me. Women are going to tell their husbands to call me. It's going to be mostly men, but the men won't call me because they will only call me the moment their wives tell them to call me. So I'll go, okay, target only women married in this age range, target this area that you can service. And then that's it. That's all you need. But Meta has been collecting data on everyone for years. So we have all kinds of good stuff in here. So let's just say, if you don't know what to look for, just click browse. There's only two places I want my advertisers to kind of look for: demographics and behaviors. Demographics and behaviors are tracked information. That is metadata tracked. Like we track this and we're like, okay, what kind of demographics? Do we know what education they have? What education level? Do we know income? This is where most people go, oh yeah, we can target the top 5% of income earners across the US. This only works in the US, so if you're in Canada, I apologize, we don't have that data. Life events, there's all kinds of stuff that you can choose here. Especially like if you're, and again, I wish this worked for realtors because y'all guys could totally use a ton of this information. Parents, if you're selling clothes to children or you're selling anything that revolves around children, you can target the parents. Like, again, it just requires you to change the ad up slightly. You can target work, industries. If you guys already knew a lot of this stuff, then hopefully you did, but there's a ton of stuff to choose from. Behaviors is really easy. I mean, again, there's a ton of stuff here to go through. I just don't have time to go through every last piece of it because I do want to get to your questions. Purchase behavior is all we're really interested in. That's really all we're interested in. Majority of the time. Again, we can go in and drill down as far as we can, but as long as you choose engaged shoppers, that means that they've at least bought something online in 30 days. That is, again, that's just tracked behavior that we kept track of. Here, do not select this. Don't ever select this. It doesn't do you any justice. Everything, let's say we drilled down the audience and we got it really well. If you click advantage detail targeting, what you're telling the algorithm is, I think this is my audience. Target those people and then just give me a cold audience that may fit that same thing. It's not really going to be, I've never seen it work. And that's just me being 100% honest with you. I've seen people click on it. I think that, again, for where we're at, we can track it a little bit better. And again, it comes down to how you read the data. All right, so once you get done, you're going to click save this audience. Again, I haven't really done a lot to this audience because, again, I'm just trying to make sure I get through all this in an hour so y'all guys can get back to work. Here, this is where you would put the audience. You would put men and women, 18 to 65, Austin, Texas. Okay, so there's that. All right, so advantage placements. Something, again, I do not believe in. I do not like seeing my advertisers do this. I do not, even though it says recommended, I don't recommend this. This is just me as a pro and been doing this for a long time. Spent 10,000 hours watching this. I've never seen it do the exact right thing when it comes to this. So what I always tell people is choose manual placements. Okay, when you go to manual placements, it's going to show you everywhere your ad is going to be shown. So Facebook, that's where we want it to go. Instagram, that's also where we want it to go. Audience network. What is audience network? Let's just say this. Audience network is a series of websites and apps that Facebook partners with to get your ad in front of them. Now, the audience network is going to be like this. If you play, let's say you play something like, I don't know, just some video game app. And or you play slots, like I play Game of Thrones slots, and it'll be like, watch this ad, and you'll get a bonus 500,000 in coins. And so you watch the ad, you're not really paying attention. It's usually a game app ad, and then you'll click on it or you won't, and then it'll that if you're not in that area, there's no need to get into it. Messenger too, I would just uncheck these two. As we get into here, this is where we want our page to, this is where we want our ad to be seen, exactly where we want Facebook and Instagram. Now look, if you sell services, let's say you sell lawn maintenance, you're going to limit your audience. But if you do this, let's say you sell only, like you do plumbing, I would say select marketplace. And that's kind of all you need to advertise in. Like you don't really need to advertise in anything else. But Facebook feed, a lot of people don't know this, but 90% of your audience on Instagram is never in the feeds. Actually, they're going to try to figure out how to get rid of the feed on Instagram. That was like conversations. They don't know when, but because no one scrolls anymore. They're either in stories or they're in reels. Those are the only two places. Like 90% of the audience is in stories and reels. Like it's very hard to get people to scroll up anymore. Interesting note as well, you do about 3 miles of scrolling a day. Like, I don't know if you know that. The average person does about 3 miles of scrolling on their phone, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, email, bank accounts, investments accounts. You're doing that all day long, 3 miles. And each app, every platform is trying to go, how do I get my majority of those 3 miles? Okay, neither here nor there. I always love telling people that. Okay, so video feeds, Instagram Explorer, again, you can try that. Instagram Shop as well if you have a shop. Oh, wrong one. Where did I go? Hold on. Get back there. Get back there, buddy. All right, so you can click on the right column. That's going to show you where you want your stuff to be included. But for right now, again, because I don't want to waste too much time, we can really dig into the weeds here. We got Instagram, and you pick your spots. I personally like to be in search because that's where most people are going to search. Again, local services, that's where most people are going to search. They're looking for someone to help them. They're going to find that in search. Okay, so we're going to hit next, and this is the bread and butter. This is where everything gets put into play. This is where you're going to start working with the actual ad itself. Okay, so again, I always tell people to do this. This is how I'll know if you worked with me, because this is what I will tell you to do. Whatever the image or video it's going to be, call it that image or video. Whatever that image or video is, okay? Just call it that. Like, hey, this is going to be this is going to be that. Just call it that. Don't go trying to change things. Just call it an image, okay? Now, this right here is my little brother's company, who unfortunately he's asked me to help him. And again, I'm the big brother, so I guess I got to do it for free. But again, you get what you pay for. I'm not like on it all the time. So, okay, anyway, so you click here where it says create an ad, manual upload, single image, carousel videos. Everything should be video. You can make great ads. If the video is horrible, just make an image. Don't put a ton of text on it. Like if you if you create a poster with a ton of text, it's going to get like driven by. They're just going to swipe by. They're not going to see it. Create a little small 6-second video, and I'll show you how to do that really quickly with some cool stuff that you can do, because not everyone loves video. The number one problem that most people have is perfectionism and feeling good on camera. Whenever I tell a business owner, like, hey, you got to get in front of the camera, like you got to get in front of the camera, like they're not going to know or trust you if they just see images all the time. They got to know who they're talking with. They got to know who they're dealing with. Like, they don't know that, they're never going to work with you. Anywho, neither here nor there. So carousels are great. You can run multiple images, but carousels are really only effective if you're using a conversion campaign with a catalog, okay? Because then you can do certain things. You can put pricing in each individual image and you can link to it. What we want to do is we want to make it simple for the person. That's really ultimately what we want to do. We want to do one item at a time. We don't want to do 6 items at a time, one item at a time. The ultimate thing should be is that as long as we get them to link to one item and we get them there, then the rest of our page should start selling them upsell items to go along with that item. Okay. But again, I'm a firm believer in video. I love video. I like images too, but images are really for reputation. They're not really to help you sell. Okay. Ad creative. This is where we put the actual ad in. So here is a quick thing that you can do. If you click this button, create a video, it's going to take you over here. Okay. All right. And so we're just going to run with something like this slideshow right here. Okay. And this ad is what I ran earlier. But again, I think it was going to come out like this. Let's go with this video. No, let's go with this picture right here. All right. We want vertical templates. And the reason why we want vertical is it'll fill up the entire screen for the phone. Everything is built for the phone. Everything should be arranged for the phone. Okay. This one's a single image. And again, we're only doing this for, there's a ton of different things that we can do, but I'm limited on time. This is my personal account. And I still got a bunch of other stuff I can work on. Just for privacy's sake, I can't like show everyone else's stuff. But what I would tell you here is if you click this and let's say you put it in primary text, you can tell us what you want to type in. Let's say, how do you say give me money without saying give me money? So let's just say something like, here's a simple way to learn how to advertise on IG or Instagram. Okay, so here it is. The next thing you want to do is a headline. The headline only tells people what the ad is about. So you want them to do something. So I would say, tired of not getting reach for your ads. All right. And as you can see, it's going to print it right there. I don't like the way that came out. And we can make adjustments here. And I'm not used to doing this on my own. It's really weird. I feel like I'm talking to myself. It's very strange. So, okay. So is reach an issue? Okay.
Okay. You're not alone. We're all like in the chat. So you're doing amazing.
There you go. I'm like, wow, this is really strange. I've never had, like, people are interrupting me usually at some particular point going, hey, Rich, what about this? And what do you got? Okay, I'm going to get to that part. But anyways, here's the best part about this thing. You run it, you create a video, and it's going to let you see it's going to run a quick 6-second video. and it's not gonna be the best video. It's gonna be video. So you can put in stories and reels, and it's gonna get into other feeds. So people are gonna see it when it comes across them, and it's gonna play, and it's gonna slow them down and go, that's static image, but it's really like a 6-second video. The best thing about creating this video is that you can add music to it. It is royalty free, add music, but it's just something to look at. Okay, so again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. Once you do, if you do this, then I would suggest never put anything here, because you're just being redundant. Okay, call to action buttons. This is very important. Call to action buttons changes the outcome of your ad. They will help you get more. It'll slightly increase how many times people are clicking based on what that button says to do. So if you are an insurance agency, or if you do like deck building, get a quote is easy. If you are very selective with who you want to work with you, like, so I know there's a lot of coaching clients. So if you're just trying to get them into your funnel, and you just like, hey, I don't want to work with everyone, I just want to work with some of y'all, click apply now and make them fill out an application to prove that that's kind of like what you're choosing. To be honest, you're probably going to go, I'll take them anyway, but you can give them the idea that you're going to, that they're going to do something. Book now is for mostly events. Contact us is going to be something very unique. That's just calling us, letting us know how you want to reach us. Donate now. If you're a nonprofit, and I know how much donations matter, create a link that goes to your donations page, and it should always go to your donations page, and then allow them to click that donate now button. That'll help you get, don't put learn more. That's a very generic button, but to get them do what you want them to do. Tell them what you want them to do. All right. Okay, and I can go through all these, but it just takes forever, and I'm like 10 minutes. And I want to answer as many questions as I can. Destination. This is what matters most. Okay, where are we going to send this audience? Okay, that's the first thing we need to make sure that we get correct. Where do we want to send them? Now, do not, if you're selling something like specific, like you're selling green sandals, do not take them to your first, don't take them to your first page. Don't make them search for it. You're going to lose so much traffic from that. Take them, again, people's attention span is very slim. Don't waste your time trying to get them to go through your whole entire site. Take them directly to where they need to go, so they can click that add to cart button, and then they can go back to shopping. But you at least want them, you want to go, hey, you know, I want them to go to my page.com/green sandals. The display link was something that we thought that was kind of cool, but it just creates more problems than it does anything. Don't put a display link. Just leave it as it is, which is going to be all right. So always check your preview of your URL. Well, I can't verify your changes. Okay, I gotta look into that. But even if you do run the traffic, you can always put a call extension. Like here, it's call my phone number, and you'll put the phone number in, and that's the number that they will dial. Okay. Tracking. This is for Pixel. You want to click that, turn that on. Okay. That pixel is not active. Those we're practicing. But you want to use it. You want to use it for tracking. Even if you're running just a traffic ad, you want to track the traffic, because that will tell you who your audience is and make it simple and easy to understand. Okay, so that's a lot of information. Once you're ready, you hit the green publish button. And once you hit that button, the ad's ready to go. And then it's going to take 15 minutes to 48 hours for your ad to get approved. And once it's approved, you now wait the 7 days. You do not touch your ad. You do not mess with your ad. You do not go, my ad is not performing. How long has it been? 15 minutes. Don't look at the data. If you look at the data, it's going to drive you insane, because you're going to be like, 1 minute, I'm looking at only 100 people. Why only? again, I will get it. You don't know how much my inbox was full of people going, why do I only have 100 people looking at my ads? I'm like, it's been, I just got off the phone with you. Like, it just got approved. Like, let it run. Let it run. Again, there is nothing wrong. If the worst comes to worst, and you're spending, let's just say you spent $3 a day, and you spent $20 for a week. It's better. That is, you consider, I would call that market research more than anything else. And that's kind of it. And you'll go, okay, I spent $20 on market research to figure out who was the audience that was clicking on it out of all people. Again, there is no bad ads. There's only bad looking at, how do you look at the data?